What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blueblood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some interesting news and interesting take regarding undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be #1 pound for pound best fighter in the world, or at the very least, top 3 best pound for pound fighters in the world, and that is superstar boxer Terence Bud Crawford. 37 wins, no losses, no draws, 27 big wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford is 33 years of age. He'll be 34 years of age next month. Terence Crawford stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, the last time we saw Terence Crawford in the ring was November 14th of last year, when he took on defeated former IBF welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Special K, Kell Brook. With that said, Terence Crawford was asked about a showdown, a highly anticipated trilogy showdown between undefeated 2-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, in a recent interview Terence Crawford conducted. With that said, Terence Crawford, he stated that Deontay Wilder absolutely looks spectacular in his new training footage with his new trainer and former star heavyweight title contender Malik King Scott. He says he looks absolutely great in training. He looks absolutely spectacular. He says, but it's immensely hard to pick against Tyson Fury because he's just a better, superior boxer. He's quicker with his herky-jerky style. He's slick. He says, and we all know at the end of the day, the pads don't hit back. So Deontay Wilder looks absolutely spectacular on the pads, but the pads don't hit back. So he says that he's still edging it out for Tyson Fury. He says, now you never can count out Deontay Wilder because he has such power in that right hand that you can never, ever truly pick against him because it only takes one punch. Now we know Deontay Wilder has knocked out or knocked down every opponent he's ever faced, including dropping Tyson Fury twice. So even Tyson Fury himself is not exempt from hitting the deck when it comes to Deontay Wilder because he hit the deck, right? And so with that said, he says the pads don't hit back. And so he's picking Tyson Fury to be victorious in this fight. He says, again, we got to see how that translates. And you have to agree to a degree, we do have to see how it's going to translate. We do have to see, his newfound, training, his newfound, commitment to the sport of boxing, because we know Malik King Scott stated that he's never seen Deontay Wilder this committed, this focused on any task. Now, he's always a hard worker. He's always in shape. He's always committed to the sport. But this time around, this go round, he is completely on a different level of focus. He's locked in, and he says he's never seen him committed like this ever before in his career. And so, obviously, Deontay Wilder was with his longtime trainer that he parted ways with, Mark Breland, who was a Olympic gold medalist. Mark Breland is has one of the greatest amateur careers in the history of sport of boxing. He's a 2-time world champion, decorated in the sport of boxing, and he parted ways, and it wasn't, on the best of terms. So a lot of people, they look to that and they say, well, Mark Breland is a darling to many people in the sport of boxing, and they weren't happy with the way things ended with Mark Breland, including Teddy Atlas, who conducted the interview with Terence Crawford. So yes, we do have to see how, Deontay Wilder's commitment, his new training translates. But I always have to ask the question, when we talk about the first fight, everybody, they give Tyson Fury credit, and everybody talks about Tyson Fury coming back off of a long, extensive hiatus. Tyson Fury coming back and being such overweight and getting back in shape, and Tyson Fury, getting over his health issues to come back in the ring. And he truly wasn't even 100% going into the first fight, and they fought to a draw, even though he hit the deck twice. That's always talked about. And then we talk about in the second fight, Tyson Fury, he walked Deontay Wilder down. He got the stoppage victory. He dominated the fight. And then we talk about the water from Deontay Wilder, and then when Deontay Wilder stated that he feels like his water was compromised. And then they gloss over and they'll say, well, the glove situation, and everybody will just brush it off. But we just seen Austin Trout most recently have a situation where his opponent attempted to tamper with the gloves and was caught. We just saw when Michael Fox fought Maestro in that fight, they attempted to tamper with the gloves before the fight. We've seen this recently, but it's far-fetched when Deontay Wilder makes the claims and Deontay Wilder says, well, there was the gloves, which we can clearly see. Nobody ever wants to talk about the gloves, which you can clearly see look like a deflated inner tube, a deflated tire. Remember on a bicycle when you take out the inner tube and it's deflated? That's how Tyson Fury's right glove looked. Nobody makes mention of this. So, yes, we have to see Deontay Wilder and how it translates. But we also have to see how Tyson Fury translates after being viewed with a magnifying glass. Because we know that Tyson Fury and his team, they don't come off to be very, very confident. As Tyson Fury's father, Big John Fury, states, Deontay Wilder is going to be a completely different guy. And that game plan that Sugar Hill employs is not going to work because Deontay Wilder is simply too smart to allow that game plan to work again, right? This is what Sugar Hill had to say. Now, Tyson Fury is not the biggest puncher in the world. How come nobody questions and wonders, where did this newfound power come from? Tyson Fury, 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw. That draw coming at the hands of Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury, 21 knockouts. But that's deceiving because Tyson Fury truly only has 4 knockouts in his career. He has 17 stoppages and 4 knockouts. And even, again, I can't reiterate this enough. When you look back at Tyson Fury's, his knockout against Steve Cunningham, it was an illegal punch that wasn't called. He held Steve Cunningham's head down, the back of his head, pushed his head down, and then hit him with a punch. That's illegal in the sport of boxing. But that's counted as a knockout in a fight that he was floored by a cruiserweight. Tyson Fury is not a big puncher, never been viewed as a big puncher. How come nobody says and questions where that punching power come from? 21 knockouts, only 4 of them are knockouts, the rest are stoppages, meaning Tyson Fury overwhelms his opponents. Accumulation punches. Tyson Fury is 32 years old, 6'9", 276 pounds, with an 85-inch arm reach. So he overwhelms a lot of his opponents, more so than he has power. So again, when you're talking about Tyson Fury, when he fought Deontay Wilder, how come nobody says and questions Tyson Fury's power? Where did it come from to inflict such punishment on Deontay Wilder and drop Deontay Wilder twice? Where did it come from? When we can see Tyson Fury's knuckle prints in the right glove. And in the first fight, you can see the left glove, his jab glove, his lead hand, getting extra inches on already long 85-inch arm reach, right? The glove seemed to be extended and it was flicking around and bending at a 90-degree angle. Nobody questions and says, well, where did that come from? Okay, where did that punching power come from? How come nobody questions that when it comes to Tyson Fury? But we'll question, right, Deontay Wilder's decisions or mindset that his water was compromised and that Tyson Fury had an unfair advantage. We'll question that. How come we don't question where Tyson Fury's punching power come from? How come we don't say, well, we got to see how Tyson Fury looks going into this trilogy match, if he's still going to look the same after these claims? How come nobody says that? How come nobody says, well, I can't wait to see that Tyson Fury is going to be viewed with a magnifying glass going into this trilogy match? And Terence Crawford is 100% correct when he says that we have to see how Deontay Wilder's newfound training translate. Oh, he's 1,000% correct, because we do have to see if it translates. Right? Deontay Wilder, 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Both the loss and the draw at the hands of Tyson Fury. 41 wins by way of knockout. He's 35, stands 6'7" with an 83-inch arm reach, okay? So they scheduled a fight October 9th. Everything Tyson Fury does moving forward is going to be viewed with a magnifying glass. Thus the reason why you have his father, Big John Fury, urging him to part ways with his new trainer, because essentially this is his new trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart, right? Nephew of the late, great, well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer, Emmanuel Stewart. So, the Crunk Gym, he's saying that style is not going to work because Deontay Wilder has already made adjustments. You look at the training, that's what Big John Fury stated. And prior to that, he had a whole different trainer in Ben Davison when he fought to a draw, and people claim that he won that fight handily. So if he won that fight handily with that style, then he switched to Sugar Hill Stewart, said he had to go back to his roots and stop Deontay Wilder. Dropped him twice, stopped him, and got the stoppage in the 7th round. He didn't even knock out Deontay Wilder. Once again, it's overwhelming, but the damage that was inflicted to Deontay Wilder's ear and the swelling, where did that power come from? Because it wasn't displayed in the first fight. So how come nobody questions and asks, where was this power? Where did it come from? When Deontay Wilder makes the claims he makes, it should be legit, or it should raise questions or eyebrows and say, where did that come from? Because we're not used to seeing that. Nonetheless, when you're Terence Crawford, you're 1,000% correct. But Terence Crawford can't get upset when people say, well, I think Errol Spence can beat Terence Crawford. Errol Spence, his rival, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout. He's 31 years of age, stands at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Now, he just suffered a major injury, a retina tear detach and break to his eye, which saw him have to pull out his fight with legendary 8th Division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. So with that said, Terence Crawford, when people say, oh, I think Errol Spence is going to beat Terence Crawford, he takes that the wrong way. Takes it to heart. So you can't take it to heart when you're saying, oh, you favor Tyson Fury. See, and I don't have a problem with him favoring Tyson Fury. It's just that we have to stay consistent all the way across the board. And we have to wonder, where did Tyson Fury's power come from? In these interviews, there's never a follow-up to ask the question, where did this newfound power come from? But we're going to find out October 9th. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.